Hello, so today I'm going to do a quick little video on a Swiss helmet that isn't as commonly known as a lot of the Swiss helmets, and it's pretty damn good actually. So this is the Swiss M1971 helmet, or Swiss M71 helmet, and it was a helmet that came along to replace the good old-fashioned M18, their sort of version of the Stahlhelm. And these are actually remarkably similar helmets. They're made from a very similar type of steel. Both of these helmets. But obviously the main advantage that you can see with this one hopefully is that it's a lot more compact, and that's basically I think all the point of this helmet modernisation was to do, was to essentially get a helmet with the same protective and sort of coverage of the M18, but scale it down to the point where you probably use less steel and it was a bit more of a contemporary helmet. So looking at this, you'll probably think it looks a lot like the American M1, and from some angles it does, and others it really doesn't. So before I forget, it came with this Alpenflage cover. You know, it fits alright, but as cool as Alpenflage is, I kind of wanted to get the helmet out of the cover for this video to show you the contours of the actual helmet. So this is where the helmet you'll start seeing is quite a strange looking thing, because it's, you know, how it's got that sort of slightly raised upper ridge. So the side the rivet's on is the side that you wear at the back of your head, and then it's got this sort of liner. Now, the only annoying thing with this helmet for me is that this is one I bought that was technically in my size, but it's one of those helmets that you actually need to buy it quite a bit above your size to get them comfortable. So I'll have a play about with this at some point and see if I can ever so gently shave down the foam pads or whatever in there so it sits a bit nicer. But it's a very simple liner system. It's basically 4 little leather bits that, you know, keep the height right, and then you've got some foam pads which are designed to obviously work there to, you know, give some tension. So I'll have a look and see if I can make it a bit looser. Hopefully I can. But overall it's a very simple helmet system. Now it does have a system I really like on this, which is just using a little metal clasp to attach to the other side, so you don't have to fiddle around trying to do a clip or anything, you know, you just clasp it up. So that also means it works quite well with respirators. So yeah, let's have a quick look then at the M1918. So this is the old one, the 1918, and there was a few different liner variants on this, but overall this helmet was a pretty similar thing. Now, I can't remember this one. Is there a way of quickly detaching the thing? Ah yes, there is, right. Although, due to the age of the metal, it doesn't work as well as you'd hope it would. But it's got stuck in there. Right, that's a bit annoying, but oh well. But yeah, so anyway, this helmet had a pretty similar liner system. There was a few different liner variants done in it over the years, but overall this helmet is pretty much, if I can get that on with the strap, you know, without, there we go, it's come off. Right, good. So basically this helmet is the exact same helmet really in terms of steel quality and everything, but it's actually, as you can see, a lot bulkier, because it's based on the old sort of German Stahlhelm type design, just of a slightly different shape. So very much a coal scuttle helmet. So yes, while it gives good head coverage, it's pretty bulky and prone to catching on stuff. This helmet really did eliminate that problem, because it's obviously, as you can see, much more of a conventional sort of US steel pot type design or whatever else, even though of course it's not actually obviously a US design. But yeah, so this is really nice actually. But as I said, the only annoying thing is it's a typical helmet of buy it in your size. Oh wait, you should have just bought it in a much bigger size anyway. But yeah, in terms of head coverage it's good. I do like the strap system because, you know, I do always like straps where you can just literally pre-adjust them and then just clip them on when you want them on. So that's good. But as I said, unfortunately, this is slightly uncomfortable to have on my head just because it's a bit too tight. So I'm going to try and adjust that the best I can. But eventually the Swiss, I think it was probably in around the 90s or 2000s, went to Kevlar helmets like basically everybody else did. But, you know, their last generation steel pot is pretty cool because it's got some Stahlhelm elements to it. I think it looks a lot more like a US M1 in a lot of ways. But the point is that, you know, it's a robustly made helmet. Now, something to point out with the Swiss helmets that is definitely worth saying that a lot of people never mention on helmet reviews is that Swiss helmets are made from very good quality manganese steel. You know, I think they're like something like 14% manganese steel, similar to the British Brodie helmets of like World War I and World War II, sort of the Mark I and Mark II helmets. And the reason that's important is because a lot of the protection offered by helmets comes from the steel used in them. So there's sort of this logical fallacy where people think, oh, the Germans in World War II had the best helmets because they gave really good coverage. And while the Stahlhelm was a really good shaped helmet for coverage, if you ever watch videos of people doing ballistic tests on one, I know a lot of people hate that because of, you know, the antiqueness of the helmet, but still they don't hold up very well. The reason being the German steel used in them wasn't all that good. So while it was a good helmet in terms of head coverage and everything, they weren't actually the best quality steel. So that means, you know, you could have essentially a helmet so big it covers your entire body, but if it's made from a very poor quality steel that won't stop any shrapnel or sort of dirt being thrown up from you know, a shell going off, they're completely useless. Yeah, so those Swiss ones, as I said, are pretty cool. You can get them on eBay about £40 to £50 in grade A condition, with a liner in grade A condition, or sort of, you know, the cover in grade A condition. And I think if you're getting them in without the covers or without certain bits of them, that they come down in price. But as said, personally I would recommend you go for at least a few centimetres over the size of your head, because for me it's one of those ones where, yes, it does fit me getting one that's about 1 centimetre too big for my head size, but it's not actually comfortable because you know, I'm assuming they thought people had very, very tiny heads or whatever. But anyway, there you go. So the Swiss M1971 helmet, or just M71 helmet, very cool actually, but obviously it was a very late steel helmet because most nations by the 80s were already replacing steel helmets with Kevlar helmets, but it's a cool bit of history.